believed that I could not handle any more than that. The truth is that I can handle more than just creeping along the slow lane. At various times in my life, I had begun to speed up and had the intention of moving to a faster lane, yet I succumbed to the limits that I imagined others were imposing upon me, or my self-imposed limits. Now is the best time. The time is now. I have heard these things a lot. They bombard us all the time in the media. Okay, now I'm recalling. I did read this part last week. Oh well, I'm going to keep going. They bombard us all the time in the media. Now is the time to come to our business and buy these products because we are having a sale. The time is now. If you have been wanting to get one of these really cool items, the time is now. Well, I have finally made the decision that now is the time to get in the fast lane. I no longer want to live the prisoned life or the pleasant life. I want to live the passionate life. I want to be fully engaged with life and be passionate about everything I do. What what feels good in my heart, what feels good in my heart, that I want, that is what I want to do, what I need to do. Throughout my life, my mind has come up with some awesome ideas, or so it seemed at the time, but after those ideas were executed, I saw that the results were not very cool at all. I was not passionate about these things. I just had ideas that seemed good at the time. No longer do I want to continue living off my good ideas. I want to live a life of passion. I want to be excited about life. I want to look forward to waking up and working on something that I'm passionate about and not just doing busy work which barely pays the bills. I do not want to grudgingly roll out of bed in the morning and think, oh boy, hmm, I suppose I had better get up and get moving so I can go force myself to do others' bidding so that I will be able to pay my bills. I want to be at that place where I wake up and say, sweet, another day, bursting at the seams with opportunity. What am I what am I passionate about today? Let's do that. Hence I'm writing this book, sharing a bit of my life and some of the tools that I've used to stay upbeat and motivated to keep going. I do so in the hopes that I can inspire others that may need a little push to keep going and not give in to the momentary desire to quit. I am passionate about doing this, as I know that serving others is beneficial to myself as well as those that I serve. I've come to a point in my life as a 40-year-old dishwasher. Okay, now I'm a 45-year-old dishwasher. Um, when I am feeling unsatisfied with what I'm doing, I am making the decision to stop doing the simple thing to survive. I have long tasted the prisoned and pleasant lives. Now is the time to instead do that which I am passionate about and reach for my dreams. Instead of simply trudging through the muck and mire of the day, feeling that I am doing what I am doing in order feeling that I am doing what I'm doing in order to keep afloat. It is time to get out of this swampy mess, move to solid ground, and start living to my full potential. When I speak of the passionate life, I'm not talking about a life of laying around making passionate love to our lovers. I am talking about living in a direction that makes your heart happy. What is something you love to do that would make you so happy if you were able to make a living while doing it? For some people, playing sports is their thing. Others love to sing. Some people really enjoy handiwork and making items of their chosen craft that other people purchase. There's a plethora of examples out there of things people love to do and are making a living at. If one is able to focus on that which they are passionate about, if if one is able to focus on that which they are passionate about, despite the myriad of distractions in the world today, they can actually do quite well. We only need to ask ourselves, am I feeling passionate about what I'm doing in life? Am I moving in a positive direction in which I am able to put my heart into my actions and feel good about the outcome? If I'm not feeling passionate about what I'm doing with my life, what can I do instead that would make me feel that way? I recently got to a point where I asked myself these same questions, and the answer is coming out in the form of this very book that you are reading, or in this case, that I'm reading to you right now. Let's see. Good morning, Shumila. Let's see. Throughout my life, I've dabbled in other things, such as making jewelry out of hemp twine and beads, doing leatherwork, painting, poetry. What I am passionate about, though, is sharing my story of surviving the ups and downs of life, maintaining a positive outlook, and sharing some of the tools that have helped me to do so. I share these things so that others may find the passionate life that I have found. I have been passionate about my remaining clean and sober, and I am sure that I may not even be alive if I have continued my pursuit of intoxication. I've never I've never before found a pursuit that I was passionate about that could possibly provide a source of income big enough to survive on, let alone live on. Sharing my story and showing others that there is always hope, no matter how hopeless situations may seem, is something I can do with passion. Helping others, being of service to them, is part of that passion, and being able to do so makes me grateful. I have read, watched, and listened to motivational speakers many times throughout my life. Maybe it was just not the right time, and maybe I was not paying attention to the right one. But after I got a copy of Brendon Burchard's book, The Motivation Manifesto, and began to watch his online videos, I was finally inspired to inspire. I have been told that the story of my life is inspirational, but as of yet, I have only shared my story in small settings. Since my inner spirit has been reawakened and charged up by the words he has spoken, the fire in my soul has been not just relit, but it is as if a bunch of fuel was added to it as well. I have watched athletes excel at a particular sport and become the best in the world at their chosen activity. I've seen people go from homeless and alone to owning a home and being married. I was in art class in high school with a friend who is now a famous muralist and painter with his artwork spread worldwide. As a matter of fact, that's Ryan Henry Ward, who I just had on my show here, Positive Vibes. Um, I don't know, a few weeks ago. He was here in the studio with me. Um, yeah, that was an awesome show. At any rate, okay, where was I at? Um, yeah, here we go. The potential to be great is there for us to achieve if we make up our minds to go for it and do so. During those years that I was down with clinical depression and its accompanying fatigue, I remember that I did have the ambition to write a book like this one, sharing my story and trying to inspire hope in people, but I did not have the physical resources to push through the impenetrable walls blockading me. Now that I am free of those weights pressing me down on me all the time, and my inner fire is scorching hot, I want to keep going and share what I have found so that others may find the passion for life that I have found. As young children, we have a desire to learn, create, and be joyous. We play as much as we can and we are happy. We utilize our imaginations to create characters and even worlds in our minds. We are free. As we grow older, we grow apart from our imaginations. we find that living in the world requires us to keep our thoughts on reality. Maybe this realization is of our own cognition, and maybe it is pushed upon us by others. But if we are to be truly free, I believe that such freedom must emanate from within us. We may be inspired or motivated by the words and or actions of others, but it is the passion within us that ultimately drives us. We must find out, if it is not obvious to us, exactly what we are passionate about so we have a direction to go in which we will feel the most alive we have ever felt. Being alive, we probably should, okay, there's a typo. We should probably do whatever it is that best wakens our spirit and provides the inner charge to keep feeling alive. If you keep doing the same things day after day, being unhappy yet hoping for happiness, while continuing to live the same day over and over, you may be living what I call the prison life. I've been there, a prisoner of my own circumstances, of my seeming inability to direct my thoughts and actions to the path of my inherent potential. I have been a prisoner of what I thought the world wanted for me. I have been a prisoner of what I thought was my destiny. All these and many more imprisonments were of my own making, the creations of my the creations of my own imagination gone awry. In the end, I was the only one who held the keys to the door of my cell. I learned early on about acceptance. After my traumatic brain injury I had when I was 11, I awoke from the coma and was told that I may never walk again. I accepted it. I accepted that it was a possibility, but did not accept that it would become my reality. I accepted that never again racing my BMX bike for safety reasons was an excellent idea, but I simply could not accept that I would never again ride a bicycle. We can either accept the limitations placed on us by others or by ourselves, or we can push beyond those limits. If it is possible, or if it is positive and healthy to do so in a given set of circumstances, I say go for it. Good morning, Pavel. Um, we need to weigh out whether it would be wiser to accept limits as they are or push for something more and reach for that next level. Right now, you are reading my book, so you are looking at a prime example. I am surviving on the income I am earning, but I have grown weary of just surviving. My weariness around the topic has grown to a point that simply surviving is unacceptable to me. To me, surviving is just getting by, which I have been doing for which I have been doing for too long. I have been doing just enough to get through the present in order to make it to the future. I am tired of accepting limits and it is time to reach for my dreams. Throughout my life, I have read a vast amount of books. I have thought about the fact that when someone writes a book, they are simply putting their thoughts on some they are simply putting their thoughts or some facts on paper or online as it may be these days. It has come to mind a few times through the years that I could do that. I could share my thoughts and the facts of my life in the form of a book. I was distracted from actuating this idea by a myriad of different things, but now I am accepting these distractions as being exactly that and getting to work on my dream of becoming an author. Distractions may seem very important at the moment when they catch our attention, but they are just distractions. Relationships are one area where our focus and distractions from that focus are paramount, of the utmost importance. It is said that what we take our attention away from withers and dies, while that which we give our attention to blossoms and grows. Hence, if we take our attention away from a relationship, the relationship is sure to fall to the wayside. If I was to quit paying attention to my wife, she would surely end up leaving our relationship and seeking attention elsewhere. On the contrary, should I shower my wife with attention and show her the vast amount of love and affection I have for her, our relationship will blossom and grow. I have noticed at various times that my relationships with other people in my life have seemed to weaken to the point that they seem distant and removed. More times than not, I have found that my inattention or that my attention giving has been slacking off. Good morning, Cam. Um, of course, people are going to stray from a relationship if they're not getting the attention they deserve to be getting in that relationship. Oh, just a side note for anyone who's just joined on Instagram or Facebook Live, I'm reading out of my book that I wrote, Live the Passionate Life and Quit Settling for Survival. Um, Everybody needs attention. Some need more, some need less, but everybody needs and is deserving of attention. So stop freely giving attention to all of the distractions along the path and begin giving attention to the significant people in your life. Since I recently started working on this book, I've been fighting off the distractions of everyday life and focusing primarily on writing my book. I've been paying attention to the necessary things outside of this book, such as continuing to work so I can pay my bills, feeding our pets so they don't die of starvation, and giving my love and attention to my wife. I was married at the time when I wrote